joining us this evening. This is our gathering of friends. As many of you doubtlessly know, we're hoping to do this in real person, maybe in an outdoor venue or something, but it has not worked out that way. So we decided to go ahead and proceed with doing it as most organizations are doing, a virtual meeting via Zoom. This began as a conversation between myself and Marlena and Kitty Spires of South Congaree-Pine Ridge, almost a year ago, I guess, Marlena, talking about how the friends groups in Lexington could come together and support each other, because we really don't know each other that well. Some of us know maybe a neighboring friends group, but as collectively, and there are 10 of us, we just don't know each other. We thought it'd be a good idea to get everybody together to talk about what we do, to see how we could support and help each other. And so that's the idea. We wanted to bring the friends together for a time of socializing and just learning from each other. You do something in your friends group that's a good idea, maybe the Irmo friends can use it. So we put this together, and we hope it's going to be very instructive this evening. I think we're going to have some good information for you. Kelly Poole in a little while is going to give an update about goings on with the system, and Marlena is going to share a lot of information about United for Libraries and the national support that's available for our friends groups. What I'd like to do to get us started is kind of call the roll and see who's here from various friends groups. And if you are here, let us hear from you and give us just a quick 1-minute elevator speech. Tell us if you've got more than one member attending the Zoom meeting this evening. Let us know who those members are, and just give us a quick overview of your group. And this is in celebration of, say, National Friends of the Library Week, which is this current week, October 18th through the 24th. That's why we picked this date, because it is the national celebration for National Friends of the Library Week. I'll start by introducing my group. Of course, I am Grant Jackson. I am the current president of the Friends of the Irmo Branch Library. We have two of our other board members in attendance tonight. Barbara Streeter, who is currently our publicity chair, but that belies what Barbara really is. Barbara is the immediate past president of the Friends and was president for 6 years, Barbara, I think, about 6 years, a little bit more than that even.
That's right.
It did a wonderful job and hard shoes to fill. And then my wife, Lisa Jackson, who's the current membership chair of the Friends and has been secretary and a lot of other positions in the Friends. And I say she dragged me kicking and screaming into this organization. First through our work with the virtual Martha Mystery Dinner Theater and now as Friends. So what we are, like many of you, the Friends of the Irmo Branch Library, we are very simply a nonprofit volunteer organization that supports, promotes, and helps fund Irmo Branch Library programs, services, and materials. We raise money and support the library. We've done a lot of different things this year as things have been locked down. One of the things we've been doing, because there's not a lot need for money for programming, but we have provided lunches and breakfast for the staff, just as they are all working in this environment, trying to help lift their spirits. So we're doing those kinds of things. Of course, one of the highlights of our year is our annual Mystery Dinner Theater. It's our fundraiser. We did it virtually this year, just concluded it about a week or so ago. It was a great event. We raised a little over $1,000, and we'll look at doing it again, probably another virtual one after the first of the year sometime, but hoping that we'll be able to get back into a live performance situation. Kelly Poole has been on stage with us for a couple of the events, and we enjoy having her and hope she will have her back. Size-wise, we're about 100 members with about 20 active. Like you, there's always that core group of individuals that come together and make things happen. So that's us. I just want to kind of go down the roll, and if you're here from your group, please let us know. Do we have anyone from Batesburg-Leesville? Anyone from Casey, West Columbia? Anyone from Chapin? I know we had somebody registered from Chapin. Gaston. I know some of you are here. Gilbert Summit. Irmo, I just did. Lexington, Maine, Marlena.
Hey, everybody. I'm Marlena White, and I'm with the Friends of the Lexington Main Library. I apologize. I was just looking at my email for a second because Chapin is working on joining us now. She just got in, so she'll be with us in just a moment there. So I'm with the Friends of the Lexington Main Library. Like all the other Friends groups in Lexington County, our purpose is to support our individual branch, which is the Lexington Main Library. I've got my senior branch librarian on here, Mark Mancuso. So if you'll say hello there. And then
I'm also a lifetime member of the Friends.
he is a lifetime member of the Friends.
Wow.
Fantastic. And then we've got board member Suzanne Taylor. Suzanne?
Hi, hello everyone.
Suzanne is part of our book committee who raises all the fantastic funds for the with the book sale, which is on hold right now. So hopefully that will be back soon.
The video is on my part. It just got me up there. Okay.
All right, so I am going to go ahead and mute everybody just so we don't have too much background noise there. And you know,
And you'll need to unmute yourselves in order to speak, and I'll pick it up from there. Marlena, thank you very much. Do you want to say anything else about Main Friends?
I appreciate it. I'm sorry I got distracted. I was messing with the Zoom here. I'm the Zoom wrangler for this evening, everybody. If anybody has any technical issues or troubles, I don't know. I'll Google it. We'll figure it out together. I have no idea. But yes, happy to be here. Friends of Lexington Main Library.
Good. Anyone from Pelion? Kitty, I know, is from South Congaree-Pine Ridge, and she's put some things in the chat saying hello. Thank you, Kitty. Glad to see you. Anyone from Swansea?
Did y'all hear me? This is Rebecca from Pelion.
I hear you now. Go ahead.
Yes, okay. I forgot that I had to unmute myself. Anyway, I'm the only person attending from the Pelion. I am the Secretary Treasurer of the Pelion branch. However, our president was going to Zoom, but she's in Indiana and she forgot. So I told her just like 2 minutes before, I said, "Are you going to join Zoom?" Oh my gosh. Anyway, you know how that works. But we have not, I've been out of town most of the summer. She's been gone. So we really have not had much going on. We're about the only two really active people. We have about 3 other ones that are pretty active when we have something going on and tap them for meetings. We have not had a meeting. We have not had anything. I've touched base with them, called them, emailed them just to let we know, you know, checking on them. But other than functions, no.
Good, thank you. And Jean from Swansea? You got to unmute.
Pardon?
Now
Am I on mute?
Yes.
Well,
How can I change that?
well, no, we can hear you now, Jean.
You're
Okay.
unmuted.
Virtually, we have not met since March, since the library was shut down. And our book sales, which we had done pretty much every quarter, that was all shut down too. So we're about at ground zero for anything going on. We lost 2 of our members, their husbands died during the same this time. And so we've probably lost 2 of the 5 we had. So, oh, I'm sorry. 1 died and another one moved away. So I'm trying to get books on the shelf. They're sitting on the floor right now in our area, and it's just a huge task. There are about 15 bags of books sitting on the floor, and slowly but surely it'll get there.
Good, thank you. I see Julie has joined us from Chapin. Julie, want to tell us about the Chapin Friends?
There ain't nothing happening up here. Just us little mice? No, it's actually fairly quiet. We had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we talked about doing some trying to do an outside book sale. Thank you, Kitty. And we haven't figured out all the logistics yet, so we're still working on that. But we put out some applications. We also stole somebody's idea for the coupon if you sign up to be a friend. So if people sign up this week to be a friend, they get a $10 coupon to use in the future at our book sales or at the corner. Thank you, Marlena. So other than that, it's quiet.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any other friends groups on the call? Any other friends groups represented? I think so. So if anybody joins us, Marlene, if you let me know, we'll ask them to introduce themselves as well. I think now we want to turn it over to Kelly, our executive director of the Lexington County Public Library, for an update on what's going on with the library. Kelly?
Thank you. Thank you, Grant. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Just thank you again. I'm really excited that y'all have brought us all together, even if it's virtually. It's good to see faces, even through the devices that we have. I do want to note, we do have a couple library board members with us, and I'm going to read from my screen. The first I see is Mr. Bill Jones, and he is a new appointee to our library board. He's been on board several months and is serving in the greater Red Bank, Lexington area. Bill, do you want to say anything? Put you guys on the spot.
Well, it so far has been a learning experience for me. And the main thing I learned from it is that the staff of the library system throughout all of the branches know what they're doing and need very little direction from us. I've been so pleasantly surprised, and not only do they have the knowledge base, but they also have the eagerness to help people within our county learn in every opportunity, every way possible. So I've been very impressed so far.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much. And then we also have, I believe, Vachel Jones is with us. Vachel is from the Irmo area, and he also is a new appointee in the last year. Vachel, do you want to share anything with the group? Vachel may not have a mic. I see he has tech assistance.
There we go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
You got to get the big guns in there.
I tell you, this woman is unbelievable. She's high cost, but she's worth it. Thank you. Well, just sort of like Bill said, starting with Kelly's staff over there, I come back and tell Jeannie just what a great group of staff members that Kelly has. Super polite, business, and just do a great job during these tough times and everything. And of course, the Irmo folks, I've been going there forever. I've got 11-year-old grandsons that went there when they were about a year old. So they have grown up. But the Irmo staff, too, is just a super group of individuals who work and try to keep this thing afloat during these difficult times. And I'm sure your staff members, too, and everything. But I am more familiar with Irmo, naturally. But just a good group of county folks and the Irmo branch, too. And I'm learning. Thank you. Thank you, Kitty.
Thank you, Vachel. That is all I see. If I miss someone, y'all please chime in somewhere and let me know. It is quite a year to be a new board member or to try to be growing the friends. We've had our challenges for sure, but all of you are just spot on. It's the spirit behind everybody and what our goal is moving forward that have really kept us together. And we couldn't have done it without the friends and the treats and the calls of support, the emails and letters that we've had amongst all the branches. That's what's helped carry us through, because you guys know we're very much in the people business. It is a lot about information and books, but any of you now who've been with us for some time, you know that is much more about people. Excuse me. I'm going to do some screen sharing, and I'm going to approach it a little slow so that if you have questions, you have some time to be able to form those either through the microphone or through the chat. I think Marlena can help me with the chat if need be. So let's see if we can pull this off.
Kelly, I'll make sure to monitor the chat in case anybody has any questions as you go along.
Thank you, Marlena.
Of course.
All right. So the first thing I thought I would share with y'all is a little bit of what was happening at other branches in the last 6 months. If this were a different time, we would talk about, annual activities. I tend to talk a lot about the last fiscal year, but we really want to know what's been happening the last few months and where we're going in the next, 2 to 3 months. I know those are questions that you all have, and then some future steps. So this is just a collage that we quickly put together. It's representative of every branch. There's a snapshot here from each branch, and it is either a service at the branch, maybe curbside. It could be a free little library, or it could even be our mailer services. So left to right, you have a free little library that the Lexington Main Library staff were supporting, and you see one of the flyers there advertising that we're open. We have a book display from the Gaston Branch Library. This was on the cusp of us opening up for PC reservation, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity to browse, but it was more of a grab and go. And then again, we have Lexington, Maine. That's a familiar space for most of you, and their curbside pickup, because it was such a huge endeavor, was brought indoors to the foyer, and they were able to manage that. Believe it or not, summer reading really did happen. And the next picture is a child care center from the Gilbert area, and with great coordination, they were able to deliver their summer reading prizes to them. And because it's a young group in the child care center, of course, they weren't mandated to wear masks in that setting. So that picture, when that came through, it really tickled us all, so that we could see those smiles and the evolution of summer reading. The next 2 pictures on your bottom left are just creativity on our staff's part. This idea took off. It was to be able to choose your summer reading prize. The book covers were put outside the Pillion Branch Library, and then you were able to show the staff which book cover you would like to pick as one of your prizes, and then that was multiplied at or duplicated at other branches. The next picture, some of you may not be as aware of. It's really something I wanted to share because you are great promoters and advocators for us. These are the mailer bags. There's a program where anyone who has a physical disability, including blindness, and cannot come into the library, they can sign up for a mailer program, and they can do that through our bookmobile services or our mobile library. The number is posted on our website. So if you know anyone who's in that position, please help connect them with the mobile library. These bags go out. They can put various items in their books, DVDs. It depends on the literal size of what you're getting to how many they can fit in there. And it's just been really great. And of course, as you can imagine, it grew during COVID. The next picture is just some fun we did with our social distancing line. So you can kind of see this is a timeline of sorts that we have through the photos. And this is the South Congaree branch. And they just added to that to make it a little more fun. And then we began to open slowly but surely. On the left-hand corner, this is the Batesburg-Leesville branch. We have a young one tucking out. These are the first two in-person patrons at Casey West Columbia. And you do get to see part of their renovated circ desk there if you haven't seen that yet. Your right-hand corner is Batesburg, Leesville again, and that is someone using the self-check kiosk. So that was another huge project that we implemented. It was not something that we had particularly entertained before. We stress customer service. We really wanted to be able to interact with patrons and give them recommendations for both other resources and programs. And in general, we felt that self-check kiosks might take away from that. But a pandemic changes many, many, many things. And so we were quickly able to add one kiosk at each location, and they were arrived in July and were immediately activated as soon as patrons could come into the branches. Pumpkins. So we're getting to a little bit of the normal. It's the evolution. It's coming along. I got this snapshot off of Slack. Slack is a platform that we began using during some of the more lockdown type phases that we went through. And Alicia Polkowski at the Irmo branch posted this. They have an annual program at Irmo where they decorate pumpkins, and the Friends of the Library help support that program. So I thought that was a good one to note. The League of Women Voters had a outdoor table at the Chapin branch. And we'll end with Swansea's bulletin board display, just encouraging everyone to check out more materials. So that's just a quick reflection of sort of the evolution of what we've been doing. I know there's a lot more questions and a lot more details, and I'm gonna skim over some of those with the pandemic response plan. I have an outline that I want to show you there. But before I do that, do any of y'all have questions about anything there that you've seen or any particulars about your branch's services?
Kelly, you said those self-checkout kiosks, they're up and running at all 10 branches?
They are. They are. They're pretty seamless. You can type in your card number or you can scan it. You do have to either take your DVDs to the desk to be checked out, or they may unlock them for you. We're trying to get people just to come to the desk for that full checkout if they have DVDs, so that less people are putting on multiple touches to different things. But they really are starting to catch on. If y'all haven't tried it, you need to check it out.
So I have people asking me all the time about where we stand with opening at the library. And since I have not been here very much, so we are now, our patrons are allowed to go in and peruse the staff in the in the library, or we still have to make an appointment and they have to go in and the librarian has to go with them? Are they allowed to go in and touch the books? And
that's a great question, and that leads me to the next thing I wanted to show y'all. Can you see my screen? Y'all see a pandemic response plan?
no.
No, Kelly, we see your video.
All right,
Video view.
try that again. Maybe now. Okay, very good. Okay, great segue. This is our pandemic response plan that honestly we had to develop. It's not something we had in the can. Who would have thought we would have been here? And so in April, we began to put these steps together. And one of the things that we focused on was not having any definite dates. There's so many thresholds that you just, could not determine when they would happen. So we talked a lot in generalities. We kept monitoring the CDC guidelines, South Carolina DHEC information, and what was happening in the county buildings and as far as county services. So as we're monitoring all of those things and the positive rates, this is how we determine which step that we're on. This is an internal document. I recognize that we're recording, but I'm gonna show you kind of what the important steps are and leading to what's next. So we won't go into so many details about the first steps, but to note, we never closed. We were always open for telephone and email services. We had Wi-Fi in the parking lot, so there were always services available. That includes the Ask a Reference Librarian email, and then very quickly we developed a COVID resource page, and we'll take just a brief look at that later. And so all of these things were happening. We were working on chat services, which was another new service. Staff were beginning to develop ideas for online programming, which has really taken off. That's something we'll continue to provide even after the pandemic. So you see references to some of these steps here. Online book clubs were established in Goodreads. We began to distribute our new books. So you can imagine some of those things were paused. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
We
Okay.
can, Kelly. I apologize. I had to, I hit a mute all button and then I tried to go ahead and unmute you. And
You did. Okay. Thank
perfect.
you. Okay. So from online chat, we began our adult programming segments, all virtual. We mentioned the mailer services already, curbside pickup that a lot of you were familiar with. We still offer that primarily on Tuesdays. So if you or anyone you know has a need for that, that is shifted to once a week. And things just really began to develop to curbside pickup. Curbside pickup of summer reading prizes, grab and go bags, crafts. You see more and more in that in the public libraries across the state, and really in those that are in this phase across the United States. We provided free printouts for a period of time. We have just recently shifted that back. So the question was, what are we able to do now? What are we doing now? Patrons can fully browse all of the shelves. You do not have to have an appointment to come in and browse and select your own materials. We do ask that they wear a mask if they're over 2 years old, and you have to have your temperature taken with a thermometer kiosk. It's touchless, and it simply gives you a green light if you are lower than that threshold that would signify a fever. It's worked really well. That step did cause some anxiety. We can't disregard that with staff and some patrons, and how patrons would react to it and how we would engage in this new kind of discussion, conversation that we've never had to have before. Some with patrons that we've known for years, and some we've never met before and may or may not believe or understand what our guidelines were or what they were nationally. So there was a little bit of a learning curve there, but the staff did incredibly well. And I speak to that because a lot of what we were doing was on a soft rollout system. So the main library would implement the steps, then the other larger libraries, Irmo and Casey, and it would continue to roll out. So it could take almost 3 weeks to have the smaller branches on board, which would, whatever that next phase was. And that'll continue to happen when we talk about meeting room usage or in-person programs. The main library will pilot the majority of those programs because they do have typically on good days the number of staff there that they need to have and more flexibility to be able to support the various departments in doing those services. So the book shelves are currently open. Computer use is by appointment. What's highlighted in yellow are where we are now. Open stacks, limited seating for Wi-Fi or studying, There are no games out for children right now, and the study rooms and study carrels are not available right now. But we are providing notary services as we can. They are by appointment usually. They ask that they call ahead. That was in existence before COVID. That's not a change. That's because there's sometimes only one staff member at a location who is a notary. So the big one right here, some of you have already been back in your branch. Just a week and a half or so, if that. Branch managers have a weekly meeting, and we talked about that if they had meeting room space, that the friends could begin to meet within those meeting rooms as part of library business. We're not allowing any outside meetings right now, but you might be able to do that depending on your location. I can certainly help you set up a virtual meeting. So anyone who may not be able to come in person for any reason, we can help you set up a virtual meeting for your group. And book sales. This is probably what you're most eager, or one of the things you're most eager to hear about right now. Book sales are limited more by space than anything else right now. Most of the meeting rooms either have furniture or our quarantined books who come back in the book return. So we have a limited area for the book sale items. The branch managers of your respected locations, they can work with you and try and help determine, is there space elsewhere in the library? Is there a book cart? Can we put a cart out outside of our foyer area? Or could you have something outside in the parking lot or on the grass? So some of you are beginning to talk about that. And we support that. It just has a couple, specifics for each branch. We will continue to quarantine items for a while. They're being quarantined right now at 5 days, and our checkout or our loan period is 6 weeks. So we have quite a flow of things coming in. When we reduce the loan period to 2 weeks, as it normally would be, and can see if we can lessen the time that we're quarantine materials, that flow should definitely improve. And hopefully you guys will be able to access some of those spaces that you've been accustomed to. Do you all have any questions about book sales or services we currently have?
I'm not seeing any questions yet in the chat, Kelly.
Okay. So what's coming up? And again, you see here on our plan or outline, there's some dates. We're not going to do these activities or enter this phase before this date. We could project ahead, and we knew that was probably not going to happen. However, I can't tell you when it is going to happen either. But adult programs, meeting room usage, open seating, those are some of the things that will come, I guess, sooner than later. There's meeting room usage by outside groups and children's programs with a larger crowd. Those will be some of the last things that we introduce. And excuse me, I think I mentioned meeting rooms earlier, and I meant to say study rooms or conference rooms. So one of the things that really helps us with the soft rollout is to really work out what our cleaning procedures will be and the staff workflow. And in some essences, it's very simple. You know, you have a space, you have a timeline, you determine when to clean it, we keep to that schedule. But yet at the same time, we're trying to make sure that we can sustain each next step. Everything we reintroduce, we want to be able to sustain it as best as we can. And we do have a few vacancies. It is just something that happens. So we have a few vacancies. We had a few new positions. We were very fortunate to have a few new positions with the new fiscal year that began in July. So we are trying to hire staff in. But as we're doing that, we're also very aware of the number of staff that we may have who are either affected by quarantine themselves, or whose families are affected by changes in the workforce or caring for children. That has not happened as often as our staff who may have to quarantine for exposures or symptoms that developed outside of the library. So far, we've done really well. The staff are physically well, and we have not had to suspend services at any location. So we're very proud of that. We're pacing very well comparatively across the state and what other public libraries are doing. We're a little ahead of some, but others are experimenting with outdoor programming and pop-up book sales and some outreach. So those will be some of the things that we look forward to starting as well. Zoom isn't as fast as me. All right. Okay. You will get a copy of this. I can email it through Marlena, or we can distribute it through email directly to you. I don't know if there's going to be any other follow-up documents. This was just completed, this infograph. This is our statistics for the last fiscal year, which ended June 30th. And they're very different than other years. To say that some things were half of the numbers of the year of the previous year is kind of a fair guesstimate, but it's not that equal because we developed other programs at the same time. And so we'll run through this kind of quickly. Here's our outreach programs and attendees. Now, of course, this did not continue after March. So this is just from last July through mid-March. Same with our in-person activities. But we had 42,000 plus virtual program views. So this is something we had never concentrated on before, and the staff did a marvelous job kicking that off. Hard copy materials, that's the books within the library or DVDs that you check out, is still at a very healthy number. We checked out over 1 million items, even with the changes to circulation loan periods that we have now. Virtual book clubs. These are mostly hosted through Goodreads. So we got those off the ground, and discussion is through Goodreads. Reference transactions back to your left. This continued at a normal number. This is more of what we would expect, and database retrievals and searches increased. Public computer uses. Public computer went down a little bit, but Wi-Fi went up. The number of virtual programs that we had implemented. Again, this is only March through June 30th. So we have done a huge number more of virtual programs. And as you can imagine, downloadable books, the checkout skyrocketed there. It's always on an upswing. And card holders and meeting rooms, pretty normal there, what the expectation would be, but staff training increased, especially during the time that we had staggered schedules. Staff were really focused on training and inventory. A couple fun little facts. So we had over 1,300 patrons register virtually through the card catalog. And that was, again, mid-March through June 30th. And our chat service during that same time period had 251 transactions. So our numbers are good. They're changing. What we will focus on is going to keep shifting. because we'll continue to have some of the virtual platforms that we have now. Oh, it didn't do it again.
Hey, Shirley.
I hope you're already a frequent visitor to our website. If not, there's a plethora of information here. Number one is the banner info. If you ever have a question about what's happening now, you can click here on the banner and it'll expand out and highlight what's happening now. If for any reason there were any kind of emergency closing, even weather related, that used to be why we used to reduce services, it would be noted here. Your information is under Get Involved with the Friends Groups pages. These do need some updating, and I totally recognize that's very hard to do right now. But as you begin to consider book sales or anything else that you want us to note, just email your branch librarian and we'll make sure that that information is updated. One of the other services that we implemented was a reader's advisory service that you could do online. So I clicked on books and more. And then as what to read next? Can't find it, what to read next. I'm not sure I clicked on the right. There we go. What should I read next? Here's an online form that you can begin to fill out, listing the genres you like or titles that you liked, what you're looking for, and the staff will email you back suggestions. So this is something that you tended to do in person or perhaps through one of our databases. Now you get a response from one of our staff members that's personalized just for you. Last but not least, we're going to zoom on down to the bottom of our page, and we have some social media information. On our Facebook page, and I'm not signed in, so we're going to get a lot of blocks in there. We give you guys a shout out. Thank you again. But you'll also see a multitude of programs, from story times to authors to tech talks. And most of them are hosted as well on YouTube. And so we're going to take a quick peek at that. So if there's something you can't find that you had heard about and you felt like you missed it, you can check our YouTube channel as well. And it may be available there depending on who the presenter is and what the terms were with that presenter. So this is our YouTube channel. You may not be as aware of it as our Facebook page. These are the most recently loaded videos, but if you click on videos, you'll see some of the back stock that we have there. This is a great place to refer people to if they were interested in especially a story time, but also some of our summer reading presentations we did with partners. And jump back to the friends page, the Facebook page, excuse me. I didn't know, and I don't think I can show it easily from here. I'm not going to pretend, but every branch now has a Facebook page. So we have the Lexington County Facebook page, but we also have a Facebook page for the Irmo branch, and that's separate from your friends Facebook page. So this enables us to dig a little bit deeper, a little bit tighter level at the different communities, and we'll begin to focus some more singular posts and events in the future for those locations. Right now, most of it is shared information. So what you see here on this Lexington County page as far as the post right there with the National Friends of the Library Week, will also be posted on the Irmo branch page. And then, of course, one of the things that you all already help us with is sharing any of that information out, whether it's through social media, word of mouth, in your email updates, etc. That's one of the biggest things that we need help with right now, and one of the things that might be easier for some than others. If anyone needs help with that, you could get in touch with me, and I'll either find a way to assist you or direct you to one of the staff who can. Okay, last but not least, you may have received an email about the Lexington County Comprehensive Plan. This is what their landing page looks like with meeting details. The meetings are all virtual. They began this morning. They would like for you to attend one in your planning district. However, you could attend any of the meetings. There's also a website that you can, in addition to this website, there's a web page that you can look at for more information and view a video and partake in a survey. So you do not have to participate in the meeting to take the survey, but I encourage all of y'all to look at that and feel free to share it. There is a great overview of our demographics in the during the meeting, a really good overview of demographics and what they begin to glean through this process will really help us with strategic planning. So with some of the things to come as we look at strengthening our programs, both virtual and for inclusivity and diversity, these are the beginning steps as we look at demographics and begin to have library-oriented focus groups that would include y'all. That is really our next huge project. We would have begun that last spring, but of course, COVID interrupted that. And so we hope we'll be able to make some steps after January towards that, even if it's virtual. So look for more to come there. Okay, do y'all have any questions I could help you with or suggestions?
Kelly, I don't have any in the chat, but at this point, if anybody is welcome to, everybody is welcome to go ahead and if you want to take your microphone off of mute and have any particular questions for our Lexington County Public Library Director, Kelly Poole. Kelly, I couldn't help but notice your fantastic little sign behind you there. You may want to draw some attention to that.
Or are you fibbing? This one? This one. My left and right's bad, so I hope y'all can see that. There we go. I had it propped up and had to finagle it earlier. Thank you.
And we had Shirley join us as well. Shirley Spreen.
Sure.
Thank you for recognizing her, Becky.
Okay.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't have any other questions or comments, anything that they wanted to share about their particular branch, about how things are going, or have any comments or suggestions for Kelly as well as questions. Kelly, I hate to get hyper-focused on the self-checkout, but perhaps at some point should the Friends be announcing that to the public, that is something that's available? Are we still keeping it kind of quiet, making, doing like a soft opening with it, or are we ready to rock and roll with shouting it from the rooftops?
I was trying to remember. It's ready. I was trying to remember what we had done a video of so far. And we did some things with the card catalog, but we haven't done one with self-checkout yet. you can certainly announce it if you'd like. It has been mentioned briefly in press releases. But I'm not sure in the next week or two that our staff will be able to put together one piece, whether it's a blog or social media. So that would be a great thing to include in a post from y'all.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Kelly. We really appreciate all the information. We are excited that the branches are continuing to reopen to the community and that the Friends are starting to come back to the branches. I know the Friends of the Lexington Main Library, we are aware that we can, with the staff's permission and checking with Mark first, ask to use some of the meeting rooms for meeting purposes, but our group has actually decided to meet virtually at least through December 31st. I could see that potentially going a little bit further as well. So we miss our friends, we really do, but the virtual has been working and we do want to make sure that we keep everyone protected and safe. Perfect.
Kelly, I'd just like to say thank you for all you did to keep the library providing services during this time, because we ended up providing childcare for our 3-year-old granddaughter for part of the week all through this, and it was just wonderful to be able to get books for her and also for us, and to watch the story times. So I just really commend you for, you know, stepping up and making sure that the Lexington County libraries could offer things.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that, and I'll share that with the staff.
Perfect. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about United for Libraries. So each Friends group is a support system for their individual branch, but as you start to move up to larger and larger organizations on the statewide level, there's an organization called the Friends of South Carolina Libraries. Many of the Friends groups represented here today are current members of the Friends of South Carolina Libraries. Each state has a statewide Friends group. On the national level, there's an organization called United for Libraries. Many of you may also be familiar with them. They are a subset of the American Library Association. So they're actually not based in Chicago, where American Library Association is based, but they're based in Pennsylvania. So United for Libraries is the national resource for library friends groups, board members, and trustees. They have some fantastic information. They do have a membership system like we all do. You become a friend of the library with your membership dues. However, we have some exciting news. The South Carolina State Library purchased a statewide membership to United for Libraries that includes every Friends group in the state of South Carolina. So every Friends group in the state of South Carolina has access to full membership benefits to United for Libraries, and that's a lot of training. I'm going to go over some of that very quickly. I'm not going to get too bogged down into the details of it, but I'm going to start off with sharing my screen. Actually, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a video. This is from the executive director of United for Libraries. Her name is Beth Novolinsky. It's about a 12-minute long video that I'm going to put into the chat that explains how to get your membership set up. If you've never logged into United for Libraries website, this Dropbox video here, is about a 12-minute long video. You're welcome to copy and paste that and watch that video at your convenience if you've not set up a membership with United for Libraries. All right, so like Kelly, we're going to practice here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see how it goes. Okay. And can y'all see the United for Libraries website? Give me a little nod. Perfect. All right, this is United for Libraries website. And when you click on here, statewide access, find your state, you can see South Carolina here. If you have not yet set up a username and password, that video can help you get that set up. I've set up my username and password, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. You can use a personal email address as the password or the username and password, or you can use your friend's organization's email. And they utilize a software called Teachable. which is a program that can help. It's a learning program that's designed to kind of have you work as you go. So I'm going to do a quick example of how you can get into some of these programs. Again, this is all free. All of this information on here is free. So as you scroll down, you can see a lot of different information. We're not going to go through all of this today. This Voice is their periodic newsletter. There's some really great videos and information here about recruiting younger board members for your friends. That's a fantastic video. I'm going to go ahead and click on that real fast. So these are set up again almost as if you were back in school. So the first thing you would do is you would hit the Get Started button, and it's going to take you to a little information page here. What you'll need to do is click this button, click here to move forward. You need to click on that in order to release the video, because basically it's one of these programs where you have to read the instructions before you get to go on and take the test. So once you click on that, you can do the watch now for the video. So this is a webinar that already happened. It's been pre-recorded. The information in here is phenomenal, though. It is a fantastic tool for your board members to kind of think outside the box when it comes to recruiting board members. Yes, younger board members is something we all are looking for and striving for, but diversity as well. Board members of different races. My board for the Friends of the Lexington Main Library is very female heavy. So that's something that we're trying to be mindful of. And so this is just a great video. This is a great tool for your board. All right, I'm going to move back out of this. And what we were hoping to announce tonight was specific information on this program here. This is called All Ages Welcomed. This is a revised version of the original program that they did for recruiting under the age of 40. And this is going to be available on November 1st. So as you see here, it says check back on November 1st. The fantastic part about the South Carolina State Library purchasing the statewide membership is this video, and it's also going to have a learning package. So it's basically a printout that your board can go through and check off where are we, where do we want to be, and how are we going to get there. So it's a learning guide. That's all going to be available free of charge. Normally that would be $159 value if you were not a member, $99 if you were a member of United for Libraries, but because we are statewide members, it's going to be free of charge for us. So I would definitely encourage at least one, if not more, of your board members to start taking a look at this and utilizing, seeing how maybe not everything on this pertains to you, but there may be just a little bit of nugget of information that is going to benefit your board and also make the statewide membership worthwhile. If it's not something that we utilize, it may not be something that they renew. So again, this is just a fantastic website. I wanted to touch on this a little bit. These monthly forums are something that they did earlier in the year. These are just webinars talking about National Library Legislative Day, what some of the Friends groups have done for that. I'm going to click on this one. And you can see here, if I try to watch the video, it's going to tell me that content is locked. That's because I did not behave and go through the proper channel. So you click on Get Started. Click up here to mark it completed. And of course, now it's not going to work. But that's the process of how you would move. You have to click through that in order to move, there we go, to the watch, the recording on demand. So. All right. So I'm going to back out of that. I'm going to go back to the homepage on United for Libraries real fast and show you just a little bit of information about what they have on there. So United for Libraries had a virtual conference not long ago, and they had some fantastic content on that conference. A lot of that information is available through the member login page that we are on there. But there's one thing that I wanted to touch on. Simon Sinek was the keynote speaker for the United for Libraries virtual event back in August. This is a fantastic video. I watched it live, and I'm a big Simon Sinek fan, so had a little fan giddiness there. All right, does anybody have any questions about United for Libraries? So now that I am in my screen share, I cannot see the chat. So Grant, I'll go ahead and rely on you. If you see any questions pop up, be sure to let me know. And then here's the reason we're all here today, United for Libraries, promoting the National Friends of the Library Week. So there's some great information on here about promoting your library, some marketing tools. If you need any graphics or promotions, if you wanted to do a proclamation, all kinds of information about a press release announcing to your local media, your local news outlets about National Friends of the Library Week. I did want to share the Friends of the Lexington Main Library did gift bags for each of our staff members today. We dropped them off today, and that was a lot of fun. Just little gift bags. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop this sharing just for a minute and come back in there. Did we have a question? No, we did not. Okay.
No, Kelly, excuse me, Marlene, I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I don't see any questions at this point.
No problem. Well, I did just want to touch on that and let everybody know about United for Libraries. It's certainly something that you can do at your own convenience, and hopefully you will find something that is useful. If you have any difficulty with it, be sure to reach out to the staff at United for Library. They are fantastic and always willing to help. So Kitty was going to talk about the Friends of the South Carolina Libraries. Kitty and I are both board members for the Friends of South Carolina Libraries, and we usually have an annual meeting. Kitty has taken that annual meeting to a whole new level, and we now had a conference planned in Beaufort, South Carolina for Friday, April 3rd. And then of course, so we have rescheduled that to be a virtual conference. And I'm going to share my screen real fast and show you the first page of the flyer for that virtual conference. It's going to be on Friday, November 6th. It is an all-day event, but we have built in multiple breaks, and not all events need to be participated in. You're welcome to join the meeting, exit the meeting, and then join again. It's $10 to join. That can be one person viewing from a personal device, or if your friends group is comfortable, you are welcome to view with multiple people at your local branch or at a location that you feel you can socially distance. We would ask, if you were having some sort of setup like that, that you would be very mindful of social distancing, hand sanitizing, and mask wearing. So again, it's Friday, November 6th. It was supposed to be at the St. Helena Branch Library, but because it is virtual, we're still going to go. Kitty and I will be at the St. Helena Branch Library, and we will be broadcasting from there, as well as having presenters log in remotely. We've got a lot of different presenters, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the next page here. Debbie Cahoon with the Community Foundation of the Low Country. Jimmy Wooten with the Greenville County Library System is going to do a presentation about communicating your story digitally. The president of the Georgia Libraries, the Friends of the Georgia Libraries, is going to do a presentation on memorandums of understanding. I don't believe any Lexington County Library Friends have MOUs with their branch or the Lexington County Library System, but they are very interesting documents about what defines the nature between your friends group and your library. So that's going to be a fascinating program. Lisa Aiken, the director of the South Carolina State Library, is going to talk about the state of libraries in South Carolina. If you join this virtual conference, I would encourage you to give a shout out to Lisa and thank her for the state library purchasing that statewide membership with United for Libraries. And we have a representative, Jonathan Newton, with the South Carolina Library Association, and he's going to talk about advocacy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out of that. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and put a registration link that has more information about that Friends of South Carolina Libraries virtual event into the chat. Information on this also was sent out to all of the friends groups, or as many as we could, reach, all the friends groups in South Carolina. So if your friends group did not get information about, in the mail, addressed to your friend's president, about the Friends of South Carolina Libraries virtual event on November 6th, I would encourage you to reach out to me and let me know so we can make sure we have your correct contact information on file. The Pat Conroy Literary Center is hosting the Pat Conroy Literary Festival the weekend of November 5th through the 8th. We are very blessed at the Friends of South Carolina Libraries to have the executive director of the Pat Conroy Center, Jonathan Haupt, on our board. So he has helped to coordinate some fantastic speakers along with the Friends of South Carolina Libraries virtual event, including Brad Taylor. If anyone has not read any of Brad Taylor's work, I would highly encourage you to do so. And I am going to put a link to his books in the chat. Y'all, it's worth the $10 if you want to hear this guy talk. And ladies, he's easy on the eyes. Throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. Well, wonderful. Does anyone have any questions about the Friends of South Carolina Libraries or their virtual event on November 6th? All right, I don't see any questions in the chat, but if any do come up, we would be happy to try to answer them the best we can. Well, I really appreciate everybody joining us today in celebration of National Friends of the Library Week. We are a little unique here in Lexington County. We are 10 branches and 10 friends groups. That's not the case in all library systems. Some library systems have one ginormous friends group for all of the branches in their system, but I think Lexington County is truly special because each of our friends groups is able to focus on the needs of their library and their library's community. So I think it's important that we each have our independence on how we can fundraise and advocate for our library and our staff and our patrons. But I think it's vital that we connect as often as we can, because a lot of the challenges that the Friends of Lexington, Maine are facing are the same challenges that the Friends of Swansea are facing and the Friends of Gilbert are facing. So it's important for us to all get together as often as we can and share information. This virtual format has actually worked out pretty well for that. And Grant was right. This all started with a lunch. Grant reached out to me and said, hey, why don't we have lunch? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. We ran into Kitty and Kitty said, well, I'm hungry. I want to go too. So we had a fantastic lunch and this is where this idea was born. We hope that going forward, we can have more of a social event where we can mingle and speak and meet each other on more of a social level. But COVID-19 just keeps getting in the way. That's all right. It'll soon enough. But,
we do it. And Melinda, I was just going to ask if anyone who is in the meeting, in the Zoom meeting today, has anything they want to talk about, they want to bring up. Be glad to take a question or two. Or one of the ideas for getting the friends groups together is to exchange information, to exchange ideas, to bounce ideas off each other. To, you know, we may have solved a problem in Irmo that you have somewhere else, or we have a problem that you solved. So is there anything anyone would like to bring up today, just as we kind of wrap up? Dolores, you're muted.
In South Congaree, we're going to have a book sale this Saturday outside.
Oh, great. Great. Absolutely.
that sounds like a great idea. Dolores, are you guys going to do cash only or cash and charge, or how are you working with payment?
Probably cash only. We don't have access to a charge thing.
One of the things I was concerned about going ahead and having a book sale was a lot of people come up and they want to touch all the books, and then set them back on the shelf. Or, you know, what are you going to do? How are you going to give out gloves for them to use, or how are you going to control that aspect?
I should have hushed because I'm not chairing this and I haven't been involved. I know I'm taking hand sanitizer and helping set up tables, but
Okay.
I don't know what Kitty has planned, whether she has gloves planned or if we're just going to put them back in the library and keep them separate for a while.
Yeah, I haven't spoken because I don't have good voice. So hopefully you can hear me. But we're going to have gloves and hand sanitizer for everybody. And we're also going to have wipes for folks to wipe the books down. And we hope to have them situated in such a way that they can, that they're not in a stack, that we have them side by side so that folks can see the spine and see what the book looks like. So just to minimize the touch, and we will have gloves for everybody to use. So I hope that we are going to be able to do it. The forecast is for rain Saturday, Dolores.
Oh, no.
I've been looking last week when we planned it, we had good weather on the forecast, but I'm praying that those showers will just go on way during the night. And, but everybody's excited about doing it. So just know that you do have to, with I think Kelly's unmuted, and I think she was going to speak to that too, but we did plan for gloves and hand sanitizer and wipes and just to have, and we're going to space the tables 6 feet apart so that folks are not on top of each other and that sort of thing. Kelly?
You got it, Kitty. You did a great job. I think all those attributes are going to be a help. If you get a crowd, you might just have to ask someone to wait a little bit, or maybe go in the library and check something out while they're waiting.
Right.
But I think trying to do it outdoors is going to be a win-win, and we'll pray for no rain.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kitty, do you have enough tents? Are you going to be able to use some tents? I wonder if there are some other branches in case you might need a few extras.
We do have several tents, several of us, and I think I think, Dolores, we have one big one at the branch or two big ones. I can't remember. But
I don't either.
Yeah, we have access to several. So if it's just a light, a chance and a light drizzle and there's clouds, we may set our tents up. But if it comes that it's going to be, a heavy forecast of rain, we'll just postpone and move it back a week. So.
Well, Kitty, could you go ahead and after the event's over, hopefully it goes off, okay?
No.
When it's over, give us all a heads up on the do's and don'ts and what worked well and what didn't work well for us. So when we go ahead and start our book sales, we might have a better understanding. Thanks.
Thank you. And one of the things, Dolores, we are have talked about, Carol and I, and Kelly had mentioned this, that we do things like on the dollar amount so that we don't have to do a lot of change.
Right.
That way we won't be touching folks won't be touching a lot of money and that sort of thing. So we've tried to think of everything. Naturally you don't, but we'll just run up against what we need to face on Saturday, and just pray no rain.
And hopefully we'll be able to hand out a lot of membership applications and get new members to our friends.
That's one of the goals of it too. And we at South Congaree-Pine Ridge, we have short hours on Saturday, and we thought that it was a good time to experiment with an outdoor sale during the short hours that we have on Saturday, just to test and see. And we've done some advertising, just a short amount of advertising, but I think it's worked well. So we will let you know, Shirley, how things go. I'll get Marlena just to give me the list of everybody that's on, and then we'll send it to everybody in just one email. That way it'll have all the information. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to talk anymore. I hate this, but it's the nature of my voice. So Kelly, if you've got anything else that needs to be mentioned about contact or interaction with folks, just let us know, okay?
Thank you, Kitty. I think y'all everything in place.
And I was just going to say, and Shirley, that's exactly why we set up these kinds of friends gathering meetings, is to exchange ideas like that and to get information. That's an important thing for us to know. What you did it work? What can we do better? We did a virtual mystery dinner theater, and I did a presentation for the South Carolina friends. recently on how we did it. And it's the idea of sharing how you do things. What can we do that you do? What can we make better? What problems can we solve? That's the whole idea behind this thing. I hope everybody has found this evening instructive, and we want to continue to get together. And again, I hope that we can have a big, when all this is over, we can have a big social and get everybody together in person and continue to grow our own individual libraries, but continue to grow this system.
Thank you. Grant, you just mentioned your the event that we did with the Friends of South Carolina Libraries. We did some virtual chats in September. I am adding a link to our chat to Friends of South Carolina Libraries YouTube page. And you can see the different virtual visits with friends that we did in September. We did one called Creative Library Support in a COVID-19 World. We did one called Membership Moving Forward. And then we did one called Adventures in Virtual Programming, which Grant was so nice to talk about his event. So I put a link to the YouTube channel for the Friends of South Carolina Libraries. Those are free to view. I'd like to share something real fast. I'm going to share my screen because we do have some exciting news. The Friends of South Carolina Libraries has some annual awards to recognize staff members, library advocates, public officials across the state of South Carolina that have gone above and beyond for their library. And the 2020 recipient of the Friends of South Carolina Libraries Public Library Excellence Award was Carol Clark, the branch librarian for the for the South Congaree-Pine Ridge Library. So congratulations to Carol. That's a beautiful photo of her. Kitty and the Friends of South Congaree-Pine Ridge put together a fantastic outdoor, socially distant ceremony to recognize Carol recently. She should have received this award in person in April when we were all going to be, like in person. But Grant, you had a question?
No, that was a mistake.
No problem. I do like some of the little reactions that you can do.
Yeah. What I meant to do was give a thumbs up, which I just did. I hit the wrong button.
Oh, there you go. See, thumbs up. There we go. So congratulations to Carol. It was an award well deserved.
Yes. Wonderful.
All right. Well, did anyone else have anything that they would like to share, comment on, question, complain? No. I really do appreciate everybody taking some time to join us this evening to gather our friends together to celebrate National Friends of the Library Week, to have a little fellowship, have a little fun. I really do appreciate it. Kelly, thank you for taking the time to offer us some information. Thank you to all the board members who are present this evening. And thank you for doing such a fantastic job representing our Lexington County Library System. The friends are here to support the branches. The trustees are there to support the staff. We're all here together to do the same thing. I'm really pleased that we can start to connect a little bit more and get to know one another. We're all friends after all.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I have recorded this. I'm going to send this out to everybody. If you'd like to share it with your board, you're welcome to. If you have any questions along the way, my information is out there, and you can certainly get in touch with Kelly, and she can find Kitty, Grant, or myself, or if you'd like to connect with a specific friends group.
And I'd like to thank Kitty for all the work they put into making this virtual meeting a reality. It's been I think a labor of love, but it takes work to get these things together, and I really want to thank them for all the hard effort that they put into it.
I think that most people who know me. I don't, it's not too hard to get me to have a conversation. I'll stop you and talk. You better believe it.
And maybe we'll do it again sometime before too long.
Yes, let's not wait till next National Friends of the Library Week. We'll try to do this again sooner.
Good.
Wonderful. I'm going to do one last thing, everybody. If everybody will give me one big smile, I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot for promotional purposes. We're going to share it on social media. So everybody, best face forward. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nope, that didn't work. Hold on 1 second. This is Adventures in Virtual Programming, right, Grant?
Right.
Perfect. I got it. Everyone have a fantastic night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yep.